Hello, this is Jason Count again. I got some more movies on the most underappreciated movies in the history of the world. This is these are numbers 67 through 78. Okay, first of all, this one guy named Ditto Mist, he did a he did a list of top 10 underrated horror movies. Very well done, you know. And one of the movies he mentioned was one called Spookies. I'd never heard of it before. I think it was one of the infamous for being one of the video nasties in Britain back in the 80s and banned in Britain, and therefore rated X. And it's a really neat movie with lots of neat monsters and stuff. Very cool, and I mean, it's in the tradition of like Gremlins and Ghoulies and stuff like that. That's why it's called Spookies, I mentioned. You know, and I never heard of it before, and I saw it on YouTube. They had the whole thing on it in sections, but it's the whole thing. It's very cool, and I mean, it's fun, and it has lots of funny stuff in it too. It's a very good movie. You should check it out. That's one I never heard of. The next one is a movie called The Pit, and both versions. There's one version that involves zombies and the manufacture of zombies, and they spent more money on. And then the other version, which I like more, is about this creepy kid who discovers this pit filled with these warthog-like creatures he calls troglodytes, and he uses it as revenge to push the people he doesn't like into the pit, and then they get eaten. So, cool movie. Let's see what else we got. Got a movie called Criminally Insane. And basically what that is it's also known as Crazy Fat Ethel. And about this heavy-set woman who loves to eat, and also she loves to kill. And it's a very good, as long as you don't get in front of her food or something like that, you should be okay, maybe. It's a good movie, and then they did a sequel. And the sequel relies on lots of footage from the original movie, and it's made for video. It's shot directly on videotape. It's low budget, but it's entertaining enough that I give it a recommendation too. But the first Crazy Fat Ethel is really good. Okay, and it's only about an hour 1 minute, and then the sequel's like 58 minutes. It's for very short stuff. Not bad it'd be good for a double feature. And then after that is a great movie I saw in Fort Bragg called They Live with Roddy Piper. I'm a big fan of Roddy Piper, and this one he has a pair of sunglasses that he puts on, and he can see like people for what they really are. And some people are aliens. They can read like subliminal messages and advertising, a whole bunch of stuff like that. I think it was John Carpenter's thing on consumerism, along with science fiction story. And originally, Vince McMahon didn't want him to do the movie, and but John Carpenter came out and said he'd be perfect for it. He didn't want him to do the movie, and then Roddy Piper and Vince said he'd give him another movie, and then he didn't want to do another movie like Hell Comes to Frogtown, even though I like that movie. So he went ahead and went against Vince and went ahead and made that movie They Live, and it's a great movie. I remember I saw it in Garlstedt, Germany at the military theater, and people went nuts. And they had a great line, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Cool line. Great movie. Let's see what we got now. We got another movie called Clown House. And this is about 3 escaped mental patients who kill these clowns, and then they dress up like clowns, and then they get into this house with these 3 kids who are by themselves. And one of the kids have a fear of clowns, and they terrorize these kids. It's a very great, very scary movie. Directed by the guy who went on to do movies like Powder and Jeepers Creepers and the second Jeepers Creepers. Good movie. What else we got here? We got a great movie called Toxic Zombies. And I remember I saw the original trailer on something called, I can't remember what it's called. It was like a video thing of video trailers made in PA. But it was called Toxic Zombies. It was called Blood Eaters. But the video title was Toxic Zombies. So it's also known as Blood Eaters. Great movie about like this crop duster dusting these crops. I think the marijuana crops and stuff like that. And they turn and the chemical the guy uses turns people into zombies. Very good movie. What else we have here? We have a great, like a 50s type gore fest called Return of the Aliens, The Deadly Spawn. And this is about these little creatures that come back from Mars, and they just wreak havoc on everything. And they eat everything. It's really cool. I heard there's a sequel. I'd never seen it. But it's a great underrated movie, but it's very good. And then we also have a Fred Olen Ray movie called Scallops. I remember this was another one of the ones that were on the worst movies of the week. But it wasn't Siskel and Ebert. It was Jeffrey Lyons and Michael Medved. They had that on there, and they said that it'd make the dog lose his elbow because it's a gore film. But it's very good and very entertaining. And Forrest J. Ackerman's in it also. And also, speaking of that, that one movie I mentioned, the Pit, uh, with the kid in the troglodytes, that was also another one mentioned on the week's worth of movies. But it was a good movie too. And then we got another movie called Slime City. It's about this guy who discovers these balls of slime. It reminds me of this homemade jelly I got from this guy a long time ago. One of our family members gave us this like strawberry jelly, but it's in those cans like that. It's like the slime stuff. I think it messes them up. I can't remember what it does to them, but it's a good movie. I think they redid it. They edited it out. It was a lot longer when I first rented it off Camp Video in Fort Detrick, Maryland. I remember I saw some of it, and then I got hungry, so went off base to the 7-Eleven, had some hot dogs or whatever they had, came back, and I watched the rest of the movie. It was cool being on these posts because it was real close and stuff like that. Video rental stores anywhere. This was back in 91, and about like 5 or 6 months before I got out of the army, or something like that, or like 3 or 4 months, more or less. Well, anyways, and then there's another movie that had a story of Plutonium Baby. They borrowed a prop from Slime City to use in a movie called Plutonium Baby, and they used the same prop. And it's like this mutant baby. He's kind of like it becomes like a superhero type horror film. It's pretty good and very ambitious for a slow budget. Well, that's it again. Hope you had fun, and hope you check out these movies. They're pretty good. Everything I recommend is pretty good. So, until next time, this is Jason Callan for the most underrated movies in the history of the world, saying stay metal and take care, everybody. Oh, and I also wanted to thank Ditto Miss for his great underrated horror films, top 10. Check that out. It's very good also. It's top 10 underrated horror films. And his movies are very good too. Take care.